This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Welcome to another episode of Speak Up Effective Communication, your place for focusing on elevating our communication skills here in the auto repair industry. I'm your host, Craig O'Neill, and with me today is one of our founding sponsors and my dear friend, Jeremy Glassco. Thanks for joining me today, Jeremy.
Hi, Craig. Thanks for letting me come on. Excited to be back on Speak Up.
Yay! This will be great. And in our episode today, Jeremy and I are going to be talking about a little bit more related to the device discipline and our use of technology in the world, and maybe some of the balances when we feel like retreating from it. And what's the proper amount of retreat? This is going to be a fun conversation, and Jeremy's just been such a great sounding board for some of my thoughts on this topic as we continue to look into sort of device discipline concepts. As always, we have a word of the day for each episode, and discussed with us, Jeremy, beforehand. We were talking about writing notes. And writing things down helps us to retain things. And it got me thinking, let's do a simple word that we hear a lot. We're going to use the word retention. We'll hear the definition of that word after a word from our sponsors. Looking for something meaningful? The Institute's coaching helps you leave a legacy, empower your team, and contribute to your community. Discover more at wearetheinstitute.com/business-assessment. Your partner in technology, AutoFlow is able to enhance your client interactions before, during, and after the visit from a single thread. To see how AutoFlow makes it simple, visit AutoFlow.com. Are you tired of juggling multiple tools to manage your auto repair shop? Say goodbye to the chaos and hello to streamlined efficiency with AutoLeap, the #1 all-in-one auto repair shop management software. With AutoLeap, you can sell more, save precious time, and delight your customers with every interaction. Your trusted companion, ShopDog Marketing, is right by your side, attracting the best customers and building long-term growth. Call ShopDog Marketing today or visit shopdogmarketing.com. Cover your communication need and revolutionize your auto repair business with AI-driven call analytics from Inbound. Explore more at callinbound.com. Okay, we're back, and the word of the day is retention. This, folks, is a noun, and it is defined as the continued possession, use, or control of something. Jeremy, I don't know about you, but retaining ideas, retaining thoughts, that is really the challenge today. It isn't the fact that the thoughts never come. It's that when you have them, that we get them somewhere where we can call upon them again. And I don't know about you, but lately in this world, all the noise and the distractions and everything else, man, my brain feels broken.
Yeah. Oh, Craig, I'm with you. And my team has actually arrived this week at a state of brokenness. I'm not going to lie, Craig. We're going on probably 3 days in a row of meetings because of 3 years of not taking notes.
Oh, no.
We're all sitting around asking some questions like, does anyone know? Like, why is this line of code here? What is it doing? So in a world of thousands and hundreds of thousands and lines of code, if there is some missing documentation or comments, let's just say the word retention, it's kind of left up in, just left to be, you're back at it. You get back to the meeting, you're back to the conversations. And, it's not that I'm not an anti-meeting person if there's a purpose, but it feels like we could have got this covered. So if somebody was there taking notes.
Yeah, that presence of mind to think things through in those moments when you should have been taking the notes. It's not always there. I mean, there's a lot happening, even in meetings these days, especially virtual meetings. So we're meeting virtually. That's how a lot of people are connecting these days. There's always another screen up. There's always more distractions all around us. Shoot, we have these things in our pockets as well. And I think this is what's really just driving me mad these days. And you and I both work. We've been colleagues at AutoFlow. You've worked as a sponsor with me on the podcast with your company, Appfield. We're both absolutely immersed in technology. And I know you understand, as I do, technology is where people are at. And we need to be able to continue to meet them there in meaningful ways. But we also need to be really responsible about it, not only in our own lives, but how we as technology advocates are actually encouraging people to use this same technology that we're bothered by some days. Like, I really don't like my smartphone anymore. I really don't like it, Jeremy. And when I was talking to you about this topic initially, I think you kind of backed me off the ledge of a full-fledged, like, chuck it in a lake detox, right? but I'm still on this edge.
You were close. You were close, Craig. Didn't you even say you were looking for a dumb phone or you found one or something along those lines?
So the term desmarting entered my vocabulary thanks to a conversation with Joe Matthews at Vision. Joe Matthews, I don't know if you've met him. He works with Gerald Martin and his team for a while. And I think he's going off on his own now too. But that conversation with Joe was great. He had a broken screen on this, what looked like a smartphone, but it wasn't quite a smartphone. It's actually called a light phone, Light, light phone. Jeremy, it does calls, it does text, it can do email, I believe, but it doesn't really access the internet. It doesn't really allow for applications on there, except for a map program. It can do GPS and navigation and those sort of things. Look it up, Lightphone, lightphone.com, I think. Put it in the show notes. I was intrigued.
Yeah. So do you own one?
No, I do not yet. And they aren't that expensive. You could swap SIM cards. That's the nice thing about it. You could take that SIM card out of your phone, assuming your phone can do this, and pop it in this thing and use that for a little while. And that might be the route I go. So I don't have to completely abandon accessibility that we have in our company here for Chris to be able to reach out to me and actually be able to maybe accomplish things that I need to accomplish.
AutoFlow customers, they're trying to reach Craig.
Yes, various things.
Sorry, you can't just say you have a light phone now. So sorry.
Yeah, but then I can say I'm going dark and actually mean that I'm using my smartphone again, right?
So if I'm someone that wants to desmart, Craig, where have you seen the first place I need to go next? Like to desmart? Because, you're already thinking of making the moves. Maybe you've already made some.
The first thing that came to my mind is, what would I lose, Jeremy? What would I lose access to? And that's why I was thinking of you in this conversation as well. As a designer of applications, like, it would be bad if people all decided to desmart. That sounds like an alarming thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering, right? Like, okay, I've got a phone. Maybe I have 30 apps on there. That's probably not enough. Most people have way more. But I'm starting to wonder if someone had the thought and they were not going to go buy a light phone, but they were going to keep their smartphone. And then they might just say, you know what? I'm deleting everything except the call and the text app. It seems as if people could do what you're asking for, Greg, with the current phone that they have. This word you and I have talked about, it's just that the discipline is not there.
It's the discipline. I agree, Jeremy. And I actually went through this exercise myself, and I looked closely into the applications that I'm using on my phone and which ones I want to keep or not. And invariably, there are numerous ones that serve me on a fairly regular basis in meaningful ways that I wouldn't want to be without. Not just because I wouldn't want to be without it, but because sometimes they don't have a synonymous application for a web app that I could use on a laptop per se. It's really made for a smartphone experience. And I remember I was talking to my friend Joe on this a little bit too. It's like, you could still have a tablet handy. It's like, well, that's true. Oh yeah, of course you could. So you don't need to keep the tablet in your pocket all the time, but when you need to engage those apps and you need to take it with you, you could have it in a car or in a bag that you're traveling with and still retain those abilities without some of the immediate hands-on distractions that can permeate this barrier that it's not even a barrier anymore. It's just our cell phone is right there. It's a habit now of being able to pick this up and distract ourselves, or whether we want to be distracted or not, we find ourselves that way. I mean, wouldn't you say that's something that happens even in your own life with your discipline? A distraction comes in.
I would say for me, if I was to be an honest confession here, probably the driving emotion that sends me back to technology even when I don't want to go. Probably the driving emotion is the fear of missing out.
Oh, sure. FOMO, fear of missing out.
If I'm looking at something like, say, a competitor to AppFueled, for example, let's say, Craig, in the light of what we're discussing, I decide, you know what, I am going to go dark now for 9 hours a day or some disciplined amount of time. Then, of course, my fear of missing out is, well, there was in that time, my competitor was willing to be in that space and they weren't going to have that discipline. So even in a situation of just, sales and marketing, I think we have a built-in fear of missing out of, well, my competitor's never going to have the discipline to. And where I'm going with this, Craig, is I actually think everybody's bar has been raised with how fast they expect answers.
That's it, Jeremy. Spot on. Technology has evolved because it's a more efficient way for us to engage and communicate with each other. But with greater efficiency, oh boy, there's a term that came to mind the other day. I forget which book I was reading, Jeremy, but it had to do with the fact it was dealing with a case study on coal miners. and how they made more efficient coal furnaces eventually, that they were just more efficient at using it back in the early industrial age, back when coal scarcity was still a thing, like oil scarcity might be a concern now. And the idea is that if you make something more efficient, it doesn't mean you need less of it. It means you actually end up using a lot more of it. And so when we make for very efficient modes of communication, we now have more of it. Not that it's just the communication we were having is easier. Now we're having more communication, period. And our brains can only handle so much.
Yeah. So you're saying the total sum of what we accomplish in a day communicating with other humans has gone up, way up.
Yes. And I think as we make it more efficient, we're going to continue to increase the frequency at which other forms of communication come in. And the expectation of response is quickly following those things. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely agree, Craig. And I think, again, for my fear of missing out is to think that, well, okay, if I don't have the tools in place or the technology in place when I am, let's say I'm trying to be a disciplined human.
Yes. Let's pretend.
Right. My three best friends are not my phone. They're not AI and they're not Facebook Reels. Let's say I have three real human friends. If that's going to be a real thing, right? And if I'm with a real friend and I'm not constantly chatting with a customer, then I have to have tools in place that could replace. This is how I'm viewing my fear of missing out. I still don't want to miss out, Craig. I want the best of both worlds. I want to be able to de-smart, as you're calling it, and I want to be disciplined to do it, but I also don't want to miss out. So I think the huge drive, and I'm seeing it, Craig, in every great marketing tool in our industry, whether it's AutoOps or ShopGenie or AutoFlow or AppFueled, any of these tools are building ways that if a shop, let's say it's after hours, or let's say they're working on a car and they missed a call, there's all of these cases where people are trying to that's the moment where technology can help us, Craig. It's not actually that we're de-smarting. Maybe we even need to get one step smarter. We need to be able to be I don't think we can view it as going backwards. We have to view it as we have to get tools that are even smarter to let us not have to be on those tools.
Yeah. And Jeremy, I felt like one of the biggest frustrations I have is being really honest about what is necessary and relevant in our lives, and not just for us that we receive. I think that, as to translate it to what our clients are in the world are doing right now with auto repair shops very specifically, what about the messages we're sending? Is that relevant and necessary and timely, truly, for the individuals that we're trying to reach? Or is it just another thing, another noise, another distraction that we're throwing at them and that will be discarded along with the rest of the noise? I feel like that's what I am seeing. And I think what's pushing me towards that de-smarting concept is that the world's not getting more disciplined on what it's sending. And my mechanisms and I discussed these in my previous episode on notifications very specifically, my mechanisms to reduce those inbound notifications is okay, but it isn't complete. Those things don't stop. And like you said, we keep talking about the fear of missing out. I don't really have that as much anymore as a fear of losing focus for where I'm at this particular moment. I'm past like the point now where there might be something happening in a realm that I'm not paying attention to, or I might be missing a message. I feel like I'm missing out with the people right in front of me. I feel like my kids sometimes. There's a great example of denizens of this internet. They're born as citizens of this world. So much information going all the time. I don't think they've ever really, except for when they're young children and up to their middle teenager years, as adults, I don't think they've ever experienced just total absence of all of this technology. And that's hard.
You could sit with your grandma in a living room looking through a photo album for 3 hours
without fearing that you're missing out on something else. That FOMO is exactly what pulls them into this realm over and over again. When you've got, my teenage daughter's a great example. I won't name which one, but it's both of them.
No names needed.
When there's a text thread going on with their friends and they know that's happening, but we're having a family dinner, right? Those scenarios I know are realistic for everybody out there right now. That fear of missing out is what's constantly reeling you in. And as long as that thought is there, that you have this easy access to this stuff, your focus is compromised.
So, Craig, I think the word that we were discussing was the discipline word. I think for those to be healthy, and to not let fear rule your life, even on this one point. Discipline is crucial. As in anything else that can become too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. This is just exactly another scenario for that. So for discipline, now, what I love about this is, and I'm still learning how to use it. You know how you said the people sending the messages, Craig, are not disciplined, right? They're not disciplined. They're just playing numbers games. And now with AI, you can send things even more, even faster, even more relevant, even better, and perhaps even better timed. So you think as the sender. But what I'm messing around with now in my own personal life is the receiving note. So I pulled it up on my screen. We're not going to be able to see it here, but I'm just going to reference it. In the iPhone experience, right? Every push message sent. And before I get there, let's get back to the sending. Look, Craig, let's say I'm going to send you a text message, right? You're a customer at my business. I'm going to send you a text message. As it is now, here's what you could do. You could block the number. You could add that number to a preferred contact. You could add that number as a favorite contact. And you could add that number to somebody that you only want that number during a certain work period or something like that. So we already have all of these abilities as a receiver. And in addition, right, let's say you're in an iPhone, you can categorize the receiving of those messages as you want passive ones to not interrupt you. And now I'm going to go through the 4, at least from an app developer perspective. Here's what we see. Every message we send, Craig, we're considering the receiver. And this is where an app notification allows the receiver to have a little more control than the text message variances I just told you about, right?
Jeremy, just clarify, you're talking, these are options that a receiver has for any number that's attempting to reach them.
Yes, not only the receiver, but it allows the sender to respect those. So I'm going to give you like a couple use cases. So as a developer, if I sent you, let's say your rewards balance, just going to throw an example out there, right? And I text it to you, but you had that number saved as your number that you wanted an appointment reminder at, you can already see how 2 messages in a text environment really can't be filtered by the receiver. It's either all or nothing.
Yes, exactly the issue. Yeah, so the type of message is irrelevant. You get the message, period.
Yeah, in a texting channel. So what I'm becoming a big fan of is on a receiving level to learn how to set up those times on my phone when I'm going to allow, and here's the 4 categories as a developer so as a sender, that's us being the developer, every message we send to the apps we build are categorized: time sensitive, critical, active, and passive. And a text doesn't have that capacity. So I like to say, Craig, unlike any other CRM, what AppFueled is trying to do is to not ditch texting, right? Texting is always going to have its place, or I can't speak always, I'm no prophet.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to predict, isn't it?
I'm not going to make a prediction about where text is going to go. But what I can say, though, is unlike any other CRM, we want to consider that there will be other messages that are not what we're going to call in a text message channel, probably the most preferred way they want to receive it. That's why I'm a huge believer in, and I mean, obviously I'm biased, I own an app building company, but part of that is because I care about the receiver. I want the receiver to have the manipulation, if you will, to say, hey, I'm disciplined. I don't want passive and active things to hit my phone right now, only time sensitive. So what we do on the developer side is we have default settings that we put almost everything at passive. Of course, we let our customers, our shop owner clients, we let them determine, and some of them override our interpretation of what would be considered passive or time sensitive.
Time sensitive or critical. Yes.
But nonetheless, at least it's a conversation. In an all text world, we don't even get to have the conversation. So this is why I think it's not smart, it's let's get even smarter.
I feel like the technology's evolved amazing ways all around. Lots of cool stuff happening. I don't feel like as a user, anyone's taught me anything really special about different applications and all these sort of preferences. And I know that that's going to be the case for 99% of people out there. And shops, as you well know, in terms of software, 80-20 rule is constantly in effect. That's the reality of the world. 20% of your clients, maybe you will use 80% of the tool. 80% of your clients use 20% of the tool, however you want to look at it. There's unused elements that are there to solve the problem that I'm feeling and expressing.
Yeah, definitely on our phones, right?
Imagine taking on each day with a team that cares about doing more. They're motivated, skilled, humble, and hungry. They're invested in your shop's success because that success helps them do more than just sell jobs and fix cars. At the Institute, we believe a thriving business is built on its people. Our comprehensive coaching and peer groups help you become a leader who is capable of inspiring your employees to reach new heights, capable to deliver exceptional customer service, and capable to grow your business into a respected pillar of your community. Start your legacy at wearetheinstitute.com/business-assessment. It's time for today's Suck Less Spotlight from AutoFlow. Today's spotlight is on advisor eye twitches. Listen, clients like to stay informed throughout the repair process, and studies indicate clients are most satisfied receiving text updates versus phone calls. But call you they will, interrupting everything from estimating to quality conversations and your game of solitaire. That is, unless you text them first using AutoFlow. With AutoFlow's automated text updates, your phone only rings for the right reasons. That way, with less phone interruptions, your eye twitch will definitely suck less. For this and more things that could suck less, visit AutoFlow.com. Are you tired of juggling multiple tools to manage your auto repair shop? Say goodbye to the chaos and hello to the streamlined efficiency with AutoLeap, the #1 all-in-one auto repair shop management software. With AutoLeap, you can sell more, save precious time, and delight your customers with every interaction. How? By harnessing the power of cutting-edge technology that brings you real-time actionable insights. From scheduling appointments to creating estimates, generating invoices, managing technicians, and seamlessly syncing with QuickBooks to keep your records updated, AutoLeap does it all for you. Visit AutoLeap.com and book a demo today. Looking to drive more customers to your auto repair shop? Trust ShopDog Marketing to be your reliable companion with AI-powered customer-first marketing, websites, and high-ranking local search. Maximize your reach with our mobile-first and voice search expertise. Car counts are like ice cream. Sweeten your revenue with ShopDog Marketing. Grab our free guide to learn how AI can drive more repair orders every day. Don't miss out on this chance to boost your business. Visit ShopDogMarketing.com. Every professional auto repair shop needs a trusted communication partner. At Inbound, our established VoIP platform is backed by years of industry experience, guarantees reliable connections, and is combined with cutting-edge AI-powered analytics. We deliver actionable insights that support your business growth. With Inbound, you get more than just calls. You get a smarter, more efficient operation. Get Inbound on your team today and see how we can transform your business. Visit callinbound.com. And application-wise, I think you're spot on because text messages, dude, they were not intended. Let's just look at that baseline of that technology for just a second. That is a go-to method, and it will be around, as you said, for a while. And it still is probably the best way that you can almost be guaranteed to reach somebody.
Yes.
But it was not designed for this. It was designed for peer-to-peer communication. Hence, there's all this A2P10 DLC text number registration and all these different things to just even have the privilege to get on there and send application type messages out into the world. Complicated stuff. We don't need to go into the pain of all of that in the world today. It's actually probably made things a little better, but I still get spam text messages like anybody.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, Craig, why do we have to go through all the hoops when I get 10 to 15 and 10 spam calls from my next lender option with a great rate? You know, it's like, wow, how do these guys get through the...
Well, Jeremy, let me ask you this question. When your phone rings, do you think, oh, I need to answer that?
Oh, just my default opinion is, oh man, the first thing I can do is I'm watching that caller ID. Yeah, I mean, as fast as I can.
Because what's your first thought? Is it important?
Where I'm at now, just my personal phone life, it's that it's going to be a spam call.
Yep. So that happens whether you have a landline, a smartphone, or anything. Any phone. Doesn't matter. You have a phone number. You're going to get calls that have no relevance or importance in your life whatsoever. And so this kind of plays into my whole thing. Like, our baseline methods of communication are now compromised with garbage. And so is every moment of our life, as long as these devices exist in any moment of our life. So I keep going back and forth, but here where we make, I think, some fruit in this conversation, something we can take away on, like, do I desmart, or do we look for that +1? I think you actually captured this pretty well. And what I would say is you're a great app apologist. Apologetics for apps, I guess, right?
That I've never heard. Wow, Craig, that does sound like something.
Yeah, it's apologetics, right? Explaining like things in this way.
App apologetics, yes.
But you divide something that I thought was really interesting, because from a developer standpoint, you are thinking about things in a disciplined manner. And I think you're right. And I've felt this way for a long time that, when it comes to a user who actually wants to engage with what you have, what better spot than an application that they actually can engage that when and how they want? Would I be losing that on a smartphone is the only concern.
With great discipline, learn how to use the smart tool that you have. And if you're in the 80 who's not, become the 20. Like, you have a choice over that. For any of us to sit around here and say, well, it's the 80-20 rule and I'm just stuck in the 80.
I'm stuck in the rule.
Who said you're stuck in the 80? Hop into the 20. And I'm preaching to myself. Right?
You can break the rule.
Yeah, you break the rule. Be a disruptor. Hop into there. But that's for me, Craig, where I'm at. Like, I helped my wife set one of these up the other day. It was like, our daughter's a type 1 diabetic, for example. So here's how we used her. She has a Dexcom glucose monitor. So any of you that know type 1 or type 2 even have some of these, they wear the device. It's constantly setting. Let's just put it this way. I'm the nighttime guy. Okay. And my wife's the sleep at night part of our family. So what I do is, she has on her phone, she has that app set to be that during the hours that she's predefined, right? So she's become the 20. She's now using her iPhone because she wants sleep. So the desire for sleep, she changed her behavior. She goes, all right, let's take a look at this, Jeremy. Show me how to make it so I don't get the low alerts when she has a low blood sugar at 3 a.m. because you're covering it, right? I'm the guy. So we're using that app and the beautiful discipline tools that iPhone offers so that my wife can sleep. I'm the one that gets the alerts when there's a low or a high during that window in time. So, Craig, that's beautiful. For those that had type 1 even 15, 20 years ago, to think how they let their kids sleep through the night, you'd have to go in. And we had to do that when our daughter was first diagnosed, Craig. So speaking of why smart, like, this is why, yes, I'm an app apologist, if that's what I call me, because
that's a powerful case study.
Yeah. When my daughter was first diagnosed, I was going in every 2 hours, pricking her finger and checking her blood, because I didn't trust our insulin calculations and was she going to go low? And so I live and breathe with this one app that happens to be with my daughter every second of her life right now. But at the same time, imagine if you didn't have the discipline, both of her parents wouldn't be getting sleep. It might have been around that time that apps became even a bigger part of my life, was to realize the power they have to be life changing. And I know that now I'm sounding like I'm overselling apps, but what I mean is, when technology is used right, imagine, going from horses to cars, that's life changing. I think we can say the same thing for some versions of things happening on our phones. It's the difference between you didn't make it to the hospital in time to now you did. But at the same time, if you don't have discipline and you're going to hang out in the 80, you're going to be not getting any sleep. It's going to be a frustrating thing.
What a great case, Jeremy. And thanks for sharing that. Okay, we're committed to this point. We're in a technological realm. We have to accept that. It's still exhausting. It still can be very exhausting. What are the measures that people can take to relieve that exhaustion that they feel? I've talked to so many people. Jeremy, the best analogy I can think of is, I feel like there's we're running towards technology right now so fast, especially with AI, but it feels like we have a giant bungee cord on our back, and it's getting tighter and tighter as we keep running, and it's gonna whiplash back on us. There is that rebound, right?
It's a good picture.
That's how I feel, right? Because I feel like, okay, that'd be too much of an overcorrection though, to keep running so hard and then let it knock us flat on our back. I had an experience very recently. I was out in Palm Springs for a conference, and had some time after late afternoon and early evening. I was right by Joshua Tree National Park. I did a quick hike up Mount Ryan Mountain, I think they call it. Then it got dark. It was a sunset hike and moon shadows. A beautiful hike coming down. But the best experience in the world is after you're down off that small mountain, 1,000-foot incline is all it was for that hike. It's dark now. It's in the middle of this desert. There's no cell phone signal at ground level at all. I start driving out, initially go to the wrong entrance because the west entrance is closed in Joshua Tree right now. Start heading back out. There's all these turnouts. If anyone has ever been through Joshua Tree, it's big, beautiful desert, the size of Rhode Island. But at night, there's no lights from anything else. I just had the moon and the stars, and there's no other cars on this little road through this park. It's open 365 days a year, 24/7. I stopped that car. I turned it off. I looked up. I heard and saw not anything human made other than my own self there with no signal on a phone whatsoever. And it was glorious. It was a cool experience. And I find myself craving more of that feeling disconnected, but knowing where I am. And it felt peaceful. And I think it's that peace that is exactly what I'm clamoring for. I don't want to create things in the world that are going to cause disruption or anxiety or pressure or all these other things, like going back and like, okay, here's now the lights of civilization again. Cell phone signal is coming back. I can now text and talk to the family and let them know I survived the hike at night. No rattlesnakes. We're good.
Yeah. So you're clamoring for peace. That's not even a good word, clamoring, but your desire to have peace, Greg. Do you think in this world, then, if I'm following what you're saying, the only way to get it is you have to go on some national park adventure, go to a destination, right? I mean, if I'm hearing what you're saying, Craig, like to get that moment is really hard to find.
It's getting harder.
If you have to go to Joshua Tree to find it.
Probably not that far. It happened to be in the backyard of the place we're at, basically. So, yeah.
So, Craig, if I can share faith a little bit, I think for me, it's faith a little to answer the question. I think I started with telling you it's the fear of missing out. I'll read you this. Like I was in humor this morning. I read it. Let's pull it up. It's talking about that piece you're talking about, Craig. For me, I think you can find it anywhere, even with your phones, all of your technology around you. And I'll give you the evidence of it. And I laughed about it this morning. It says, God is our refuge and strength, the very present help in trouble. See, so present help in trouble. So wherever you are. And so this is for me, fear of missing out is a powerful emotion for me, Craig. So when I read that line this morning, and I've been thinking through AI, I'm watching what our competitors are doing. I'm seeing everybody moving in all these fashions. And I started laughing when I read this. Therefore, we will not fear though the earth gives way. And I started putting substitutes in there. Though my competitors crush me. So though I wasn't able to build it fast enough, though, right, you see what I mean, Craig? I just started, or though the mountains be moved, or though the mountains might tremble. So I guess where I'm going, Craig, is wherever you are, right? Whether it's Josh, you don't have to go to the links to get to Joshua Tree. There I was sitting at my breakfast table, reading this, and I arrived, and I had my phone. I was actually reading it on my phone. It's kind of a little bit of the irony of it all. And in this striving and the fear of missing out and watching technology go, I'm reading this and I'm arriving at peace. Back to the faith component, as with anything with technology or no technology, you got to have your cornerstone. You have to have what it is that the fear does not get conquered, or that fear does not conquer. You have to have something more powerful than the fear. That would be what I speak to, Craig. So whatever you think the whiplash is out there, or whatever you think the fear is, something has to be more stable, more of a cornerstone in your life that's more than that fear.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like the real baseline fear that I have is that when people are together, face to face, engaging in human to human, heart to heart, relational conversation, our actual presence is compromised in most cases. And there's only so much emotional energy and fuel each of us have. And I'll put faith in it again. One of my favorite things in the New Testament and scriptures is when Jesus goes off on his own, takes a little break from his disciples, typically in nature.
His Joshua Tree trip. Yes. They are neat.
Yeah, he does this frequently. Yes. That to me is instructional in a very powerful way. I feel like you can't really stay with your finger on the buttons all the time and be as healthy as you could be.
Yeah. So the reservoir does run dry of what you have to offer humanity.
Yeah. And so instead of desmarting, I feel like better discipline is the word we're using, but if we're going to liken it to a reservoir, then basically like, how do we conserve water?
Yeah. Okay. That could have been our word of the day. Hey, we could have turned retention into retain. Retain became conserve.
They're very close.
They all are very close together.
I love it.
I hear what we're saying, Craig. If we're listening to ourselves, like definitely you can find it in the moment wherever you are. But at the same time, don't get too far out there, right? Where you're going to get whiplash back. Go grab some time, preferably alone.
Grab some time and the thing that you need, right? It's different for everybody. Some of us are outdoorsy, others are not. And that's all right. I would say everyone should be outdoorsy. Probably is necessary for our brains.
I love how you don't get how funny this is for someone who's a non-athletic, non-hiker person. Like, oh, just 1,000 foot, no problem. I'm like, come on, Craig. Like that's not that for everybody. That's just not no problem. You know,
it's true.
You just got to throw it out there. Oh, it's 1,000 foot incline. Like, Craig, that finishes some people off. Okay.
Fair. I was not always this way. I think that's more of a recent thing too. So you could be, would be my statement.
Yeah, you need to preach at me. Jeremy, get out of the 80. You could be in the 20. You can start hiking and being an awesome outdoors like Craig.
Yeah, you're over there in Idaho. It looks beautiful, man. I bet you have some hikes.
On that note, my son, he does the foothills in Boise. If anyone ever gets out here, beautiful foothills. I think they say they have just the most trails for bikes, all within a city. Like, you know, there's probably 10 trailheads within 2 seconds of like 10 different roads right downtown Boise. You just hop on a trailhead, you got access to all the foothills. And that's when I discovered like that doesn't necessarily bring me peace. Like as I hear your stories and you get out there and you're alone, like I found myself almost dead, dehydrated. My son took me out when it was like 98 degrees. And like what? I got no skills. I don't know what I'm doing out here. You know, you ever seen the movie Nacho Libre?
No.
Okay. If anyone's seen it, there's this scene where this desperate wrestler, he's come to the end of, you know, it's a Jack Black movie. He's come to the end of his realm thinking life is over and he's out in the wilderness, right? And they show him out there. He's trying to survive. He's out in the wilderness. But after this scene of you thinking, man, he's really lost his mind, they pan the camera and he's about 50 feet from a house in the village in the town. And so that's a little bit, Craig, what it's like for me to think that I'm actually leaving technology. If you just pan the camera, it was like, and he had a watch on.
It was only a few feet over. Exactly.
So when I hear your story, there really are, and thank you for that encouragement. There probably really is a time, you know, to go get the reservoir, actually not be able to pan the camera and see that there's your laptop and you're still answering questions and you're giving that human, whoever it might be, or alone or the time with God, and you're just focused on that moment, being in the present.
It's beautiful. See, this is why I like talking about this stuff. I would have never gotten a Nacho Libre point ever.
Sorry. And if you haven't seen it, I mean, man, but there's some good things there. And all Jack Black movies, I mean, of course, don't want to talk about the Minecraft movie, right? The kids getting kicked out of theater.
I was flying when my kids were seeing it with their cousins. So they had a great time seeing that one, I guess.
They had. But wow, Craig, as I'm thinking of what to do next, like when should we plan? I mean, it can't be together, right? You got to send me the plan to get to Joshua Tree. I've never been there.
Oh, it's a wonderful place. Yeah. Among many others in the world, but you're so close to Utah too, man. Just pop on down a little ways to Ogden, Utah. There, the institute is headquartered there. I was there for was the last Mars conference that they had. Man, those hills there too do it real nicely, and it's just you park right outside of town. You can hike right up those hills in there. It's just an amazing place. So many beautiful spots that are just outside of reach, just outside of the reach of those signals that you think you need.
Now, Craig, for you, are you in a situation where you're trying to plan that into your life now? You're trying to plan these reservoir moments?
100%. Yep. My wife and I might have mentioned this to you. We're going on a camping trip in the Manitou Islands. So in my office here, I'll adjust my camera just slightly. I have a painting behind me that is always behind me of the Sleeping Bear Dunes. And on the top of the horizon line of that painting is the South Manitou Island we'll be camping on, which is great. Ferry takes you out there, about 10 people at a time on this island. It's about a 10-mile hike around the island if you go around the circumference. Not a huge island, but looking forward to just popping out there with my wife and not quite being in touch for a little bit. That'd be a good couple nights.
I'm thinking as your audience, Craig, might be doing this kind of thing. Like, so let's say we adopt that. Like, I'm thinking for me too, right? We got 24/7 support. We got all kinds of things going on. What would you advise for a shop, I guess, with you having that experience where you're able to get away? Like, how does a shop that maybe is open 6 days a week, 7 days a week, how in the world? Like, I've wondered this because I don't operate a retail hospitality storefront like a lot of our clients, like we serve AutoFlow.
But as you well know, there's staffing challenges in each of them. And so as a team, like this probably wouldn't happen, but staggering things is so important so that business can operate and the expectations of a business can be met. There's real things and real pressures, but each member of a team needs to be able to recharge. I think we burn out technicians as much as we do owners or service advisors. The service advisor role being really critically one of the ones that I safeguard the most. Every time I ask this, and I think I've told you this before, in terms of when I'm teaching some of our communication courses to advisors, I like asking a room of advisors and technicians, which job is harder, working as a technician or an advisor? Those who have worked both, I ask this question to. Universally, everyone says the service advisor, because they're in the middle of all of this stuff. There's all the things the technicians need. There's the parts ordering. There's the owner and their demands. And then there's the customer and their expectations or lack thereof, and all the various things. You're in the middle of that. And I remember being the most exhausted in this industry when I was working full-time in that advisor role. I actually went to a technician role to escape some of the stress of that for a while too. Still able to be in the shop, do my thing, but not do that. But wow, we have this place in Michigan called Mackinac Island, a very accessible island, which there are no cars on. It's horses and bikes, and you're still in contact with the rest of the world, no problem. But it was a really nice place to vacation. I think that you need to have a mental reset somehow. And if we aren't affording the time for our teams to actually get that, that's a bit of a struggle, because you need what's called the 3-day effect. I've learned this reading Michael Easter's The Comfort Crisis, the 3-day effect. It takes 3 days of a break, typically in nature is what they're encouraging for this, for you to really leave behind all of that, if you're missing out and all the other things, and actually just be present and have that full experience in a place. There's a lot more to be said on that, but you need 3 days. 2-day weekends, great as they are, not always enough. Big fan of more frequent 3 days.
Yeah, and I think, Craig, you're now hitting on the head why we thought this topic mattered to really everyone to really consider, like to get the weightiness behind what we're talking about. It's basically the health of your ability to be a loving, gentle, patient person. Like I know for me, Craig, those are the 3 words that are the fastest to go in my life when the reservoir is dry. It's like I'm usually the first thing to go is not my patience, just my gentleness. Like I still might be patient that you're dumb, but I'm just not going to be gentle with you. And then my patience goes, and then anger starts to creep in, and then I'm just not loving. So I think this topic of how technology is stretching us, you're talking about 3 days. We're not even getting 1 solid hour without an interruption of some kind to be able to build a reservoir where we could interact with the next human we happen to be encountering with. And so for me, Craig, like here's one of the tips I learned. I learned this 9 years ago. It changed the mornings for my daughter. I was going to say it changed my mornings, but what it did, I used to be a non-gentle, impatient, unloving dad in the mornings.
Oh, I cannot even picture this.
Yes, no, you guys, can you imagine, right? But what it was I had no alone time to do my Joshua tree moment. And so what I learned, this is, like I said, it changed the mornings for my daughter. I dedicate minimum of half an hour where the first person to hear my trials, my impatience, my bitterness, the leftover strife, all of my fears, I get to engage with God. He hears all of it first for half an hour. It allows me to be a reservoir filled. Is my prayer? I'm not saying I'm perfect. Talk to my daughter. No, whatever, Dad. Some mornings got better. But that point right there, it's a little bit of that Joshua tree moment. Guys, you got to find it. Whether it's your lunch break or it's the start of the day. And yes, for me, it had to be no technology, right? Now, again, the irony of it all is I turn off all alerts, all texting, all calls, and I read the Bible on my app, on an app. So it's kind of the irony of it all. But what's interesting is that's just being disciplined with the phone. I'm not just going to start scanning over at Instagram.
Yeah, it's a very disciplined transition from being asleep to engaging family or whatever it is. Like when we don't have that space between the things that we're about to do. And Jeremy, I really do feel like this is so connected to why this is even on my heart at all right now. Like I leave my office some days and still ping, 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 ping. Emails can still hit me all the time. And now I'm trying to leave the office, although it's physically in my home. And that's difficult. And I remember when I first started working from home, and maybe you've had this in your life too, I missed the commute. some days. Not the traffic. The traffic was horrible. But the time I left work, I had this time doing this other thing, and then I was home and could be home better as a result. I don't have that transition. It's literally seconds before I'm downstairs at the dinner table after being off microphone or out on a Zoom meeting with someone. And that's talk about running with a rubber band on your back.
So wait, Craig, if I hear you right, you don't block out the last half hour of an office day and put it in black?
No, I do not. But it sounds like a Jeremy tip right there.
I've been trying that. I've got particular days, particular times. I just black it out.
Brilliant.
Because I'm not the 3-day Joshua Tree guy, but I like to find it. I'm your help in present trouble. And I think you can find it anywhere, anytime. But again, it's discipline, right? It's discipline. And that's why I'm a fan of the technology, Craig. I know it's kind of counter the light phone.
I'm a fan too. I absolutely am. And I'm not sold on a light phone. Not yet. I think I would be missing too much if I do. But I think there is more we can do with the applications that we do depend on to make sure that they're doing their job.
If it's me, Craig, everyone needs to keep raising your hand to all of the app developers out there and go, guys, give us more tools, more ways to modify how we receive the information. So the more the developers hear that, like the developers of AutoFlow, the developers of any of the software companies out there, the more they hear the message that receivers want control over their own invasive things, you're going to have a situation where you could be a responsible business communicating with your customers the way they wanted it to be.
Brilliant, Jeremy. Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. And that's probably why I'll delete Facebook.
Yeah, like whatever, responsible.
No, I really am going to delete it, I think, very soon.
Goodbye, Facebook, Craig.
Hey, apps can be very beneficial and ways that I think actually help, but don't add to this thing. And Jeremy, I think you were the perfect guest in ways I could never have anticipated for this conversation, because it's an evolving one in my mindset. And I know it's a concern in our audience's mind as well. And so, hey, to our loyal listeners, I will say this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out here at speakup@CraigO'Neill.net. And Jeremy, let's get your email as well.
Yeah, it's jeremyg@appfueled.com. Or if anyone just wants to talk, it's appfueled.com/Jeremy.
Beautiful. So, hey, folks, this is a technological world. We're going to be citizens in it for a while. You can still take your breaks, but we thank you for taking the break with us and listening to this episode. But don't forget to listen to the other shows on the Aftermarket Radio Network. We have Carm Capriato's Remarkable Results Radio. We have Hunt Demarest, Business by the Numbers. We have Diagnosing the Aftermarket A through Z with Matt Fonslow. Fun tip for you. I know he's been interviewing John Thornton lately. Very much worth listening to. That man is one of the presenters I hold the bar the highest. John Thornton level is a real thing. I am very eager to dive into Matt's episodes interviewing John. And then, of course, we have Brian and Kim Walker with the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast and Coach Chris Cotton on his weekly Blitz. And, of course, thank you once again to all of our sponsors, our current sponsors who make this show possible. And thank you, Jeremy, for being there with us in the first days, too.
Hey, thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been wonderful, Jeremy. Any final words?
Well, guys, go after it. I'd say don't just hang out on the 80. That's what I'm taking for preaching to myself. Because you know how it is. That's the word for me. Stop just complaining. You can control it. You can be in the 20.
Beautiful. And hey, don't forget to check out the other episode I've done with Jeremy Glassco. That was episode 06, I want to say it was. I think we titled that one Jeremy in the Jungle. At least that's what it says on my sheet.
Much easier to view a tech in the jungle.
No, but Jeremy is a great question asker. And I think you even heard it today in our conversation. Jeremy is one of the things I admire most about you, and I'm still learning from you all the time. So thanks again. Now, to our listeners, I say get out there, listen up, speak up, and I guess don't delete your apps just yet.
2 thumbs up.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right. See y'all.
You've been listening to Speak Up, Effective Communication with Craig O'Neill on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Craig on your favorite podcast listening app and on his YouTube channel. Let him know what you'd like him to speak up about. Craig is all for advancing the automotive service aftermarket.